It has some nice background which we need to discuss further. So I hope everybody has books with you or online, whatever. But in case if anybody needs to share it online, please someone can share the screen. I'll be reading from the book, so I will need some help there. Before we proceed, I just wanted to do something. Give me 1 second. Trying to get something. Create something, but it is not coming. I'm just trying to get, and maybe Piyush Prabhu, if he's there, he can find some reference easily. Is he there, Piyush Prabhu? Oh, you're there. Prabhu, I want you to find out the best reference for this Ado Shraddha verse, Prabhu. Something from the purport, or maybe from Nectar of Devotion, because it's a verse, I think, from Nectar of Devotion, if I'm not wrong. So if you can find out the reference, and in the meantime, we will discuss this verse. Sorry for the delay. Let's discuss this verse. Who wants to read this 1616 now? Verse and translation, please.
May I, Prabhuji?
Yes.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Dhyayatascharanambhojam bhavanirjita chetasa outkantashu kalakshasya hridyasina meshanairdharihi.
Translation by
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. As soon as I began to meditate upon the lotus feet of the personality of Godhead, with my mind transformed in transcendental love, tears rolled down my eyes, and without delay, the personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna, appeared on the lotus feet of my heart.
Lotus of my heart.
The lotus of my heart.
Okay, let's do one thing. Let's read the purport, and then we will discuss further, because last week we didn't read the purport. So Prabhupada is talking about the different stages of bhakti, progress of bhakti. So let's read. Who wants to read the purport?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, I can read.
Okay, either of you, Indu Mataji or Swapna Mataji.
Yes, yeah, Prabhu.
Yes,
Purport,
Indu Mataji.
1616. Yes, Prabhu. 1616. Purport. The word bhava is significant here. This bhava stage is attained after one has transcendental affection for the Lord. The first initial stage is called Shraddha, or a liking for the Supreme Lord. And in order to increase that liking, one has to associate with devotees of the Lord. The third stage is to practice the prescribed rules and regulations of devotional service. This will dissipate all sorts of misgivings and remove all personal deficiencies that hamper progress in devotional service. When all misgivings and personal deficiencies are removed, there is a standard faith in transcendental matter, and the taste for it increases in greater proportion. This stage leads to attraction, and after this, there is bhava, or the prior stage of unalloyed love for the Lord, for God. All the above different stages are but different stages of development of transcendental love. Being so surcharged with transcendental love, there comes a strong feeling of separation, which leads to 8 different kinds of ecstasies. Tears from the eyes of a devotee is an automatic reaction. And because Sri Narada Muni in his previous birth attained that stage very quickly after his departure from home, it was quite possible for him to perceive the actual presence of the Lord, which he tangibly experienced by his developed spiritual senses without material tinge.
Thank you, Mataji. So, how many of you kind of followed the flow, how Prabhupada is, without giving the Sanskrit words, apart from Shraddha and Bhava, how, what are all the stages that you could identify in these English statements that Prabhupada has given?
Hare
The
Krishna,
first
Prabhuji.
initial stage, I think Prabhu has shared it in the chat also. आदौ श्रद्धा तथा साधु संग अथवा भजन क्रिया तथा अनर्थ निवृत्ति स्यात् तथा निष्ठा रुचिस्तथा तथा आसक्ति तथो भाव तथा प्रेम अभ्युदय. One second, it's calling me. Sorry about that. So, yes. Now, then Prabhupada, that's the verse goes, Tata prema abhyudanchati sadhakana mayam premnaha pradurbhave bhavet kramaha. Step by step. What is the translation? Can somebody read the translation from the chat? Can read it from the chat.
In the beginning, one must have a preliminary desire for self-realization. This will bring one to the stage of trying to associate with persons who are spiritually elevated. In the next stage, one becomes initiated by an elevated spiritual master, and under his instruction, the neophyte devotee begins the process of devotional service. By execution of devotional service under the guidance of the spiritual master, one becomes free from all material attachment, attains steadiness in self realization, and acquires a taste for hearing about the absolute personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. This taste leads one further forward to attachment for Krishna consciousness, which is matured in bhava, or the preliminary stage of transcendental love of God. Real love for God is called prema, the highest perfectional stage of life. In the prema stage, there is constant engagement in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. So, by the slow process of devotional service, under the guidance of the bona fide spiritual master, one can attain the highest stage, being freed from all material attachment, from the fearfulness of one's individual spiritual personality, and from the frustrations that result in void philosophy. Then one can ultimately attain to the abode of the Supreme Lord.
Prabhupada is actually given a, it is more to do, I think it is from, Prabhupada is given a holistic understanding here from the void and philosophy, etc. But if you come back to our verse here, right? So who can identify from each line which was this? We have the Sanskrit verse in the chat as Prabhu had posted there. Piyush Prabhu has posted there. So first initial stage is Shraddha or liking for the Supreme Lord. And next is, what is this?
Sadhu Sangha.
Increase
Associate
at
with
liking.
pure.
To increase at liking, we have to associate with pure devotees of the Lord. Okay. Third
Bhajan
stage is
Kriya
to
is
practice the prescribed rules and regulations. What is this?
Bhajan
Bhajan
Kriya.
Kriya,
Bhajana Kriya. With the sadhu sanghas, you do Bhajana Kriya. Then what it will do?
Remove Anartha
Anartha
Nivritti.
Nivritti.
So this fourth line is Anartha Nivritti, right? So dissipate all sorts of misgivings and remove all personal deficiencies that hamper the progress in devotional service. So sadhu sangha and bhajana kriya is required to remove our anarthas. We cannot expect to get rid of the anartha simply by what do you call? Simply by somebody is speaking. Maybe I'll mute. Okay. So this bhajana kriya is required to do anartha nivritti. Because as in the association of devotees, when you do bhajana kriya, that's when the real anartha nivritti will happen. And then when anartha nivritti happens, what happens?
Nishtha.
Nishtha.
Nishtha means that initially Shraddha is there, but it's like a preliminary Shraddha, liking for the Lord. But the later part of Nishtha is fixed Shraddha. Nishtha is fixed Shraddha. Right? That is called standard faith. Prabhupada is calling it a standard faith in transcendental matter. And then what happens?
Ruchi.
So when the standard faith has to increase in greater proportion to lead to the ruchi part, that is attraction. Prabhupada is calling it as attraction, correct? Actually, Prabhupada is, no, this is actually asakti, isn't it? Because thereafter ruchi, there is one more stage called asakti, right?
Taste increases is ruchi.
So
right?
taste increasing in greater proportion is ruchi. Taste is ruchi, actually. Taste is ruchi, and then attraction is asakti. Then comes bhava, which is the preliminary stage. Right?
Emotion.
But all these stages leading up to this asakti is what Prabhupada called it as transcendental affection for the Lord. Attaining the transcendental affection for the Lord. Right? So being so surcharged with transcendental love, there comes a strong feeling of separation. After this is what prema comes. This unalloyed love, no? That is a prema. Now, once one comes to the stage of bhava, there is a strong feeling of separation, that vipralamba separation, viraha bhav that comes, right? And that's when you get the 8 different kinds of ecstasies. What are the 8 things? Ashtavikara, they call it. Romancha, Ashru, Rangabhav, then the different
Kampa.
kampa, Romancha, Kampa, Sutaranga Bhavishya, all those things are, are manifestations of this. So what Prabhupada is saying here is a very important line. Tears in the eyes of a devotee is an automatic reaction. It's not a forced reaction. So we cannot say that I'm pushing myself to all these stages. It naturally happens as a result of our continuous sadhana. Right? Continuously and without break, when we have the sadhana, that's when you will see these things happen in our life. The tears and ecstasy and so on. Now, I'm going to ask you a very important question here. The thing is, we are saying that the Lord came, it is going to happen now, right? The Lord is going to come up and say that he is going to leave. This is happening. Now let's read the translations for the next few verses. 17, 18, 19. These three verses. No, go up to 21, please.
Should I read, Prabhuji?
Yeah, please. Just the translation alone. I don't want to read the word. That will go when we go deeper into each verse. But for now, I just want to give some little, do some little introspection here.
O Vasudeva, at that time, being exceedingly overpowered by feelings of happiness, every part of my body became separately enlivened. Being absorbed in an ocean of ecstasy, I could not see both myself and the Lord. The transcendental form of the Lord, as it is, satisfies the mind's desire and at once erases all mental incongruities. Upon losing that form, I suddenly got up, being perturbed, as is usual when one loses that which is desirable. I desire to see again that transcendental form of the Lord, but despite my attempts to concentrate upon the heart with eagerness to view the form again, I could not see him any more, and thus dissatisfied, I was very much aggrieved.
Let's
Seeing
read the
my
next passage.
attempts Seeing my attempts in that lonely place, the personality of Godhead, who is transcendental to all mundane description, spoke to me with gravity and pleasing words, just to mitigate my grief. O Narada, the Lord spoke, I regret that during this lifetime you will not be able to see me anymore. The those who are incomplete in service and who are not completely free from all material taints can hardly see me.
Okay, we will stop here. Now, the reason I wanted you to read through these verses, the upcoming verses quickly, is because now the Lord, now he got the vision of the Lord for a moment, which is fine. After he sat in meditation. Now he is there and mentioned, it is mentioned that he is in Bhava stage. So, but then we are also having this verses which talk about this particular verse where it talks about as soon as he began, I'm reading the verse 16 again. As soon as I began to meditate upon the lotus feet of the personality of Godhead, with my mind transformed in transcendental love, tears rolled down my eyes, and without delay, the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, appeared on the lotus of my heart. Now, where did he get suddenly this Bhava stage? Where did he get this Bhava stage from? It's not, it's, as we read through the purport and also the definition of that verse, the Adav Shraddha. We saw it's a long process, long journey.
He served the Bhakti Vedantas, no, with full dedication. He served the Bhakti Vedantas. And he was not having any material, he was not interested in any games. He was not a naughty child. He was not interested in other material things.
Correct. Okay, now coming to this other question that will come later. But for now, can we read those? Because I wanted to refer to those verses in the 5th chapter, which actually leads to the answer to our question. Indu Mataji rightly answered that at a high level. But I think we should read through those verses again in the 5th chapter. How come suddenly he was meditating and then he got into the bhava stage already? So the point I'm trying to make here is, already Narad Muni was almost on the verge of bhava stage. You get me? And those are all the
Yes,
verses.
Prabhuji.
Those are all the verses which will reveal that to us. Explicitly, it was not mentioned. But if you see, Narad Muni himself says this, those steps, no? He said, once only, from verse number 1,525, I'm reading. Once only by the permission, I took the remnants. Anyone else wants to read? From the 25th verse onwards.
Only translations.
Yes.
Okay, I will read text 25, 1,525. Once only by their permission, I took the remnants of their food, and by doing so, all my sins were at once eradicated. Thus, being engaged, I became purified in heart, and at that time, the very nature of transcendentalist became attractive to me. Text 26. O Vyasdeva, in that association and by the mercy of those Vedantists, I could hear them describe the attractive activities of Lord Krishna. And thus, listening attentively, my taste for hearing of the personality of Godhead increased at every step. Text 27. O great sage, as soon as I got the taste of the personality of Godhead, my attention to hear of the Lord was unflinching, and as my taste developed, I could realize that it was only in my ignorance that I had accepted gross and subtle coverings, for both the Lord and I are transcendental. Next, shall I read, Prabhu?
Yeah, next also.
Okay, text 28. Thus, during 2 seasons, the rainy season and autumn, I had the opportunity to hear these great souled sages constantly chant the unadulterated glories of the Lord Hari. As the flow of my devotional service began, the coverings of the mode of passion and ignorance vanished.
The
Text
next one.
29. I was very much attached to those sages. I was gentle in behavior, and all my sins were eradicated in their service. In my heart, I had strong faith in them. I had subjugated the senses, and I was strictly following them with body and mind.
Now,
Text.
we'll stop here.
Yes.
Now, we read from verse number 25 to 29. These 5 verses, correct? Let's do an exercise here. Let's try to understand this stages. Here, Narad Muni is telling this, right? Step by step, how he got attraction. So, can we patiently sit and identify that those stages here, where and what all we can find and fit in Adav Shraddha, Tata Sadhu Sangha? Because the reason I am saying this is, these are all the verses which reveal that he already went through that stage. That's why as soon as he sat down and meditated, and Krishna appeared, and he was in the stage of bhava, and tears were flowing. It's not like a sentimental thing that happened just fraction of a second and then finished there. So he had already gone through these 9 stages in the presence of the Bhakti Vedantas. Does it make sense?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes,
Yeah.
Prabhuji. Correct.
Yeah,
So
Prabhuji.
now let's go through this and see, identify which ones the same five verses, 1, 5, 25 to 29, and let's see which one matches to which one. I was hearing there is a nice podcast of Gauranga Darshan Prabhu. He was doing this with one two devotees, Namaras podcast. It is called. I think Swapna Mataji also posted it in her status, if I'm not wrong. So it was a nice
Yes,
one,
Prabhuji.
very nice flow of how he came to Krishna consciousness. In that, he mentions 2 steps before Shraddha, which Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur highlights as even before Shraddha, there are 2 steps that happens. Do you remember that, Swapna Mataji, if you had heard the whole thing? Because that was one of the important
Yes, Prabhuji.
philosophical points it says in it.
That was Vaishnav Kripa, service and Vaishnav service of the Vaishnavas and mercy of the Vaishnavas.
Sorry, what are the 2 things?
Service unto the Vaishnavas and
Yes.
then and their mercy.
Kripa, yes. So these 2 things precede Shraddha actually. It might have been done unknowingly also. You are doing some service to Vaishnavas, and then unknowingly we are given some mercy of the Vaishnavas. Kripa, Vaishnava Kripa, Sadhu Seva and Vaishnava Kripa. Right? Now, these 2 lead to the Shraddha point. That's Vishnu Shankar Thakur's commentary, his commentary there, that also is included. So we will have to include that while those things are not explicitly mentioned in that verse, those 2 are not explicitly mentioned. This is our Acharya's conclusion. Now, let's read the verse number 25 and see what are all these things. Father Shraddha, even before that also.
Anarth Nivriti.
Sorry?
It's Anarth Nivriti.
Where Anartha Nivritti is happening?
Because it says now that all my sins are at once getting eradicated.
No, it happens in 2 places, Mataji. The sins getting eradicated, actually it comes at 2-3 stages. This is a preliminary stage. Okay. Now, in Anartha Nivritti, it doesn't start in the beginning itself. First, he is taking the with their permissions, he is taking their Mahaprasadam. Correct?
Yes.
So,
verse 23, actually, this Sadhu Sangha happens at verse 23, where the Bhakti Vedantas come and stay. Verse 23. O Muni, in the last millennium, I was born as the son of a
Yes,
certain maid
Mataji.
servant, engaged in the service of Brahmanas who were following the principles of Vedanta. When they were
so
living
before the
together
Sadhu
during the
Sangha,
4 months,
there is service, no?
learned circles also are there. Learned circles are, yeah. 23. Yeah, yeah. Shraddha is there, and then Sadhu Sangha. Sadhu Sangha
Let's see
in
if this,
verse 23, no, Prabhu?
let's see if this is flowing in a sequence, at least to a certain extent. It will be, but most of
53
it.
is Sadhu Sangha.
No, before we talk about Sadhu Sangha,
23 is
Shraddha Ashtaka.
the Vaishnava
Shraddha,
Seva, which
Shraddha,
you
Prabhu.
just said, Prabhu.
we
Precedes
said
the,
Seva and Kripa, no?
yeah, so that Vaishnava
See, it is
Seva,
one
which
thing
That's
you have
coming
to,
in 23.
okay. One thing we all have to notice is that it is not just a sequence, linear sequence. What happens is, while this is while one stage is happening, the next stage, when you go, the second stage can also still continue to happen, or the previous stages. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, Prabhu.
It cannot be that Shraddha is over, then the Sadhu Sangha is there, then the Sadhu Sangha is over, then Bhajana Kriya is there. With Sadhu Sangha only you can do Bhajana Kriya. You understand? With Shraddha only you can do Sadhu Sangha. So when you go to the next stage, the previous stage is automatically included in it. So it is like a, how should I say, like multiple cycles. It's like concentric cycles continuously going on, and it's all feeding. One line is there, each of them will feel like circles. You understand? I will probably draw a diagram to show how this works, but later maybe. But right now, we will just imagine that thing. Right now, let's see one by one. I will just take only the translation. Yes.
Like a
What does it
superset,
say?
Prabhuji.
Sorry.
Like a superset. Like a superset, Prabhuji.
Yes, it's like one circle is there, that circle is rotating. Then we have another circle, bigger circle rotating, and then the third circle is all rotating, but they are all touching and going around like this, not like concentric circles. I hope you understand. In compass, we do that round, no, with a pen, we will do that. It will come nice. This thing will come like that. You should see
Spiral.
one starting point.
Spiral, Prabhuji.
Yes, not spiral
Spiral.
alone. No, it's not spiral. How should I say? Let me see if
One
I can
within
do
the
it.
other.
No, I will just try something like this. Let me share the screen. Something I will show. You're able to see how it is doing there. I'm just doing it in paint. What I can say. See, this is suppose you say this is faith, right? Then you have sadhu sangha, bhajana kriya. Then another nirti. Understand how it works?
Yeah.
Like this.
Yes.
Again, while this is going on, this will continue to go. These rotations will continue to happen. Right? You got me?
Yes.
It's like a sequence.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Goes like this, then it goes like this, like this, like this. And each circles rotate separately also. That's why it's a bit complicated. I know how that's how I'm envisioning the whole thing happening, because when you go to sadhu sangha, doesn't mean that Shraddha is over. Shraddha continues to increase more and more with the help of sadhu sangha. Bhajana kriya increases with the help of sadhu sangha and Shraddha. Right? Okay, now let's try to understand from verse number 23 onwards. We said, of course, mercy and seva, these two precede Vaishnava Kripa and Vaishnava Seva, these two precede Shraddha. Now, let's see in this thing. I was born and engaged in the service. So service is the first thing that he started without knowing, correct?
Yes, Prabhuji.
And then they give the causeless mercy also, correct? Vaishnava Kripa
Yes,
and
Prabhuji.
Sadhu Sangha, Sadhu Seva, that those two have happened here, correct? 23 and 24.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji.
These are all his qualities, which we will keep it by the side. That is that quality. These qualities actually helped him attain the stage much faster. If these were not there, self-control, no attachment for sports, not naughty, alpabhashini, and all these things, is actually additional qualifications, right? Now, so here again, he is by their permission, and see, while all these things are happening, he is having sadhu sangha. You understand? Sadhu sangha, in the sadhu sangha, he is doing all these things. Correct? So now he is taking by their permission, verse number 25, you say, see, by their permission, he took the remnants of their food, and by so doing, all my sins are at once eradicated. All the sins until that point. Okay, because later also he will again say my sins are eradicated. Because it's just that it's not that the first process eradicated only 70% of the sins and then remaining got eradicated later. Not like that. Until that point, whatever was there was eradicated. But we have this tendency to associate with the material nature again and again and again. So it will also lead to again what do you call so a little more imperfections and sins here and there. It can happen. It's not that it will not happen. It can definitely happen. So when such things happen, that's why we constantly do the cleaning process. Less like we are cleaning our home, our floors and vessels, everything every day. Same way we have to clean our heart, because there is every chance that contaminations can accumulate. So at that point, yes, he became purified in heart, and only when we, by this taking the remnants of their Mahaprasadam, the very nature of the transcendentalist became attractive to me. This is a very important point that he's making here. He's saying that, very important point is saying, what is that? That only by their, by associating with them, by their mercy, by taking the remnants of their Mahaprasadam, the Bhakta Padajala, Bhakta Bhukta Avashesh, Bhakta Padaduli. Yeah. So Bhukta Avashesh is the thing. Then the transcendentalist, the nature of the transcendentalist becomes attractive to me. Attractive to me. Now, here is again the when he say this. Actually, here the Shraddha has started. Other Shraddha has started. Implicitly, it has started. Right? That's why here the association is mentioning this. Right? Shraddha. Here the Shraddha thing. Sorry, but the Sadhu Sangha has already happened here. There are two kinds of Sadhu Sangha. One Sadhu Sangha is you are taking unknowingly. Another Sadhu Sangha is you are taking knowingly. Knowingly means knowing the power of the Sadhu Sangha. Correct? Initially, what he had is a Sadhu Sangha which he did without knowledge. Right? Without knowledge, we are engaged in the Sadhu Sangha. And later, as he was gaining the taste and associating, he was gaining the mercy and he got gaining the higher taste, etc., that association becomes more prominent by knowingly we are taking it. In other words, we are looking forward to that, and we are saying, hey, I want a taste, I want to hear Katha. Isn't it true with all of us? The first time when we got Sadhu Sangha, we didn't even know that how great they are. First time we are seeing, and okay, many people are coming and putting garland and paying obeisance, etc., etc. So there must be something, but then we don't know anything about them, or we don't know anything about Sadhu Sangha, but we're just going and taking that Sangha. Just by Krishna's arrangement, it happens. And once that is done, then when we start getting the taste, then the association becomes more voluntary, or with eagerness, Autkantya, as he says this here, right? Now, Hrida Autkantya. Now, so in that association, so the verse number 26 is talking about the Sangha, and by the mercy of those great Vedantists, right? Now, hearing them describe the attractive activities of Lord Krishna. So what would you classify this, hear them describe as?
Bhajana Kriya. Bhajana Kriya.
Bhajana Kriya.
Yes,
Bhajana Kriya.
Bhajana Kriya. It's Bhajana Kriya, Shravanam Kirtanam, right? So he is listening attentively. All this is Shravanam. They are doing Kirtanam and he is doing Shravanam. And when the Bhajana Kriya is happening, what's happening here? Next. My taste for hearing of the personality of Godhead increased at every step. Ruchi, Prabhu.
Ruchi.
Yes, the Ruchi is happening. Now Anartha Nivritti, he is...
Ishta, no, Prabhuji?
No, actually it's a bit jumbled here.
Getting
But
from...
then they're all one after another. So I mean to say they're all happening in sequence. So they're a little bit jumbled here, but still it's fine. You know, it can happen in either way. Now, and thus listening attentively, here, see, read the next one also, and then you will get an idea. He's saying, as soon as I got the taste of the personality of Godhead, the taste is ruchi. My attention to hear of the Lord was unflinching. What will you
That
classify
unflinching
this
is
as?
Nishtha.
That is
Nishtha.
Unflinching is
Asakti.
Nishtha.
Nishta,
Right?
Nishta, Nishta, no?
Normally,
Hmm.
Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, Anartha Nivritti Shad, then what? As per the verse.
Asakti.
No. Nishtha.
Ruchi,
Nishtha.
Nishtha,
ruchi,
Ruchi.
Nishta,
ruchi,
Nishta, Ruchi,
nishta,
Asakti.
ruchi,
Nishtha Ruchi.
asakti.
Yeah.
Nishta, Ruchi,
Right.
Asakti.
After Anartha Nivritti, Nishta, Ruchi, Asakti. But here, where is Nishta, where is Ruchi, where is Asakti? We haven't touched
Asakti
Anartha
Ruchi.
Nivritti yet. We haven't touched Anartha Nivritti yet. But Anartha Nivritti is happening in the previous part also, where he says, my sins became eradicated. That is happening anyway. That Bhajana
Purified in
Kriya,
heart.
sorry?
He said, I became purified in heart in the previous one.
Sins were eradicated and I became purified at heart, he said, no?
Prabhuji, because this is a dialogue, I think in dialogue sometimes he is not telling it as per the process. He's telling it together.
No. Correct, Mataji. What I'm saying is, as I told you, I draw the diagram. No, it need not be that
Yeah.
one step has to be the previous or
Exactly.
exactly. It can be even not only because it's a dialogue, it can happen that way to anybody. But what I'm saying is, all the steps should be there. That's all.
Yeah.
That's my point here. In this particular set of verses, we have to identify all those nine stages are there or not.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji.
Prabhuji, what I think is that it's happening in Satya Yuga, and anyways, the anarthas are anyway less, and the anartha which I can only point out here is that my ignorance that I had accepted gross and subtle coverings. That is the anartha which you can expect in Satya Yuga.
Exactly. No, that is you made a point that that is the anartha, that is nivritti that has happened here. Only in my ignorance that I accepted the gross and subtle coverings, that revealing that point is actually anartha nivritti happening there. That I am, out of ignorance, I have accepted this body as mine. That is my real anartha. That is the real anartha. Body is the real anartha. I am this body. Body consciousness is the real anartha. All others are byproduct anarthas. Body itself is anartha, right? That's what I was looking for. But again, when you say something is happening in Satyuga, actually you should see that person also talking from Satyuga point of view, right? If somebody says 50 years ago, say 10 rupees is a huge, big amount. But now 10 rupees is nothing. They will say, no, 1,000 rupees is a somewhat some pocket money kind of. Those days when 10 rupees was given us pocket money, then we will be jumping in joy. Now 1,000 rupees also they say, but children say it's nothing. I can't even buy a lunch treat for anybody. That's like that, right? So that stage, in that stage, even that small thing, for now it looks like it's a very small thing, but for them it was a big thing. Identifying this body as mine is actually is a huge thing for them, right? They didn't even want that also, correct? So we should, end of the day, whether it is 10 rupees or 1,000 rupees, that day, those days, 10 rupees was big, these days, 1,000 rupees are big. But at the end of the day, that big and less small amount, that thing was always there. So the stage is the same, but just that the quantity is different. Correct? So now here, let's come back here again. So we identified.
Prabhuji, I have one doubt. I
Yes.
have one doubt. Here
Yes.
we are saying, see, I had accepted gross and subtle covering. He is talking about the material body. But anarthas are actually are attached to material things, na. So how can actually one say this body is an anartha? That in our previous life it was kind of because we had done something we accepted. Should we say even this material body is an anartha only then?
Yes, Mataji. This body is the biggest anartha. Because the moment you have the body only, this aham mama thing comes. The moment we get the body consciousness, the moment we got the body, we get the body consciousness, and that body, everything that is related to the body is me and mine. When I am not in the body consciousness, then I may be inside the body. But if I'm not in the body consciousness, that is when Jivan Mukta they are called. For them, this body is not anartha, but this body is artha because this body they are utilizing 100% in the service of Krishna. That to serve Krishna 100%, we need to completely be non-possessive of anything. Aham mama should be completely zero, isn't it? But whatever we may say, how much ever we may say, I'm doing this service, etc., etc. But still, that aham mameti is still there in some percentage in all of us. As long as this body is existing, it will be there. At least a tiny percentage will be there, given to the purest of people. That is why it is almost completely destroyed. It's not completely destroyed until the whole body is destroyed. Only we are completely realized, or we can reach Krishna completely. So this body is the real anartha. I read somewhere. Where did I read? The actual source of all anarthas is this body, and the consciousness that I am this body, and that is there in slightest thing at least. That's we have to accept that at some point, because many times we think that oh, I have become devotee, I'm using this body in the service of Krishna, etc., etc. But how much percentage of the body we are using it in Krishna's body means it includes the mind also. I'm telling both gross and subtle body together. How much of it are we using it in Krishna's service or Vaishnava service? It's we know better, right? So
Prabhuji, I had
that's
one more
where.
doubt in this whole.
Yes, Mataji.
I had one more doubt, Prabhu. In this, where is actually in this the stages of bhakti? Where is that devotion? What is that service to devotees and all coming? It's not coming anywhere. I'm not able to find that, Prabhu. Where is it covered actually?
You mean Adar Shraddha, Sadhu
Like even
Sangha, that
Narada
one?
Muni. Sadhu Sangha is there. That is association of devotees.
No. You
But
are asking. Sorry, you are asking in Narada Muni's life, or you are asking in general the 9 stages?
in general, Prabhu.
No, in general,
Yes,
I told no that see, ideally speaking, this word, this stage Sadhu Sangha should include the Sadhu Seva also. Sangha does not, because when they are doing Kirtanam, you are doing Shravanam, that itself is a Seva. Right? And the second thing is that it's not only that singing about Krishna and glorifying Krishna and I am hearing. They will tell, I have some, say, when I go and ask for some solution, Prabhu, this problem is there, Maharaj, this problem is there, then they will give some solution. That is Sadhu Sangha. There I am listening to them. I'm obediently accepting their instruction. So that is service. Seva is there. And when the Seva is done, Kripa is there. That is why Prabhupada did not highlight those two things separately, Sadhu Seva and Sadhu Sangha. He did not, Sadhu Kripa, Sadhu Seva and Sadhu Kripa, he did not highlight them separately because that is included in Sadhu Sangha. Sadhu Sangha does not mean only Shravanam Kirtanam. It also means I am taking instruction from the spiritual master or the senior devotee, whatever, and then following it. And when we are following it, Kripa is by default there. Right? So that is included.
And doing seva, like you said, serving them also, serving the devotees also is included there.
Automatically, when we are sitting and hearing their instructions or hearing their katha, that is seva.
And it's permanent actually. That's it.
Yes.
Like you said, now it's a spiral. It is there, whichever stage you are there, that is actually continuing. Sadhu
Exactly.
Sangha is always there.
Exactly. So the Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is giving these two stages before Shraddha, no? Sadhu Seva and Sadhu Sangha. That is unknowingly done. Without knowledge, we are just listening to somebody, and then our Shraddha increases. Shraddha will not come just like that thing. Somewhere we have heard, somewhere we have read, somewhere we have seen. That's how we see that whole thing that happens. Okay, now hope that clears your two questions, Mataji. Very nice, thought-provoking
Yes,
questions. Thank you for that, Mataji.
Yes,
Now, coming back to these verses, let's figure out which and all the 9 stages, whether they are all fitting anywhere. Who can highlight them? We would have read it by now, these 4 or 5 verses. Anyone? Haribol, Hare
Guruji,
Krishna.
can we do this exercise properly and then put in the chart or something? Maybe we can do a proper exercise on this, no, on each of the shlokas. Even maybe we can discuss now, but it will be worthwhile if we actually go through in
You want to
detail
do it
also and put
offline?
it up.
You want
Yeah,
to do it
maybe
offline?
after. We can take little more time, think over, and then put it also. Or even now also
Can do
we can
that.
see. Okay, 20
Definitely we
minutes.
can do
Now also
that,
we
but
can see. Okay, now
I
also
mean,
we can
I
discuss.
was just trying to come to a point by doing this
Sure.
exercise. Anyway, let's
Sure.
discuss this for some time now. Others who can't do
Yeah,
it now
sure,
can
sure.
also throw their points
We
in the
can.
WhatsApp group later. So
Sure.
let's
Okay.
let's read this again because it's very important. Somebody is posting message in the chat. Who's that? Srividya Mataji. Already she did some part of it. Since were eradicated, I became purified at heart. Anartha Nivritti. Okay. Then what is 1526? In that association and by mercy of those great Vedantis, that is Sadhu Sangha, I could hear them describe the attractive activities of Lord Krishna. By activities of Lord Krishna, that is Bhajana Kriya. Okay. That's true. Now, so we collected what all things? Anartha Nivritti, Sadhu Sangha, then Bhajana Kriya is also
Bhajan Kriya.
included.
Ruchi.
Ruchi is what?
My taste for hearing of the personality of Godhead increased at every step.
Mm.
Then Nishtha we
Both
discussed.
Nishtha and Ruchi both are there actually.
27th, yeah. In 27th also Nishtha is
27
there.
Nishtha and Ruchi.
In 27,
And Anartha Nivritti also.
yeah, no, hold
Nishtha and
on.
Ruchi.
Where is Anartha Nivritti in 27?
Anartha Nivritti is last one, no, Prabhu?
Uh,
I could realize that
That
is
it
in
was only
I
26.
my
had
ignorance
accepted
that I accepted.
cross and subtle coverings.
You are
Last sentence.
mixing verses. Verse number
27.
26 is where you could see he is in association, Sangha is there, mercy, Sadhu Kripa is there. I could hear them describe the attractive activities of Lord Krishna. That is what? Bhajana Kriya. And then listening attentively. My taste for hearing increased at every step. That listening attentively should be Nishtha. Taste of hearing increasing at every step is Ruchi. Right?
Yeah.
Ruchi.
And see, it increased at every step, right? Now, as soon as I got a taste of the personality of Godhead, my attention to hear of the Lord was unflinching. Again, he is talking about Nishtha here.
Nishtha, yeah.
So what it means is that it's not that from say Bhajana Kriya, Nishtha, Ruchi, Asakti, it should be in this linear only. It will go back and again come, back, again come. You understand? It can go back and forth again and again. So it feeds on to each other, right? So my then it is unflinching. And as my taste developed, again another nivritti is happening here.
Yeah.
Got it?
Yes, Prabhuji.
In my ignorance that I accepted the gross and subtle coverings. Right? And the rains, see here again, thus during 2 seasons, the rainy season and autumn, I had the opportunity to hear these great souls constantly, sages constantly chant the unadulterated glories of the Lord Hari. So Sadhu Sangha is again happening here. Right?
Actually, Sadhu Sangha is a part of, it's a part of everything, continuous thing.
That's what I'm saying. Sadhu Sangha is there everywhere. It should be there. Without Sadhu Sangha, all these other things will not happen.
Yeah.
Right? So as the flow of my devotional service began, the coverings of the modes of passion and ignorance vanished. Again, what's happening here? See, just like you said, in every stage, Sadhu Sangha is there. In every stage, Anartha is also happening.
Yes, yes.
See, that's why I wanted to read this carefully. Now you got clarity of how these process. It's not like Shraddha, then get Sadhu Sangha. After that, Shraddha is taken out of this equation. No, all of them are there. It's how do you say? It's like n into n factorial or something we do, no? That factorial we do, right? In all that all the various permutations and combinations, whatever is the mathematical formula that we used to do, right? So in every stage, everything is there, and the others are also keep adding, right? Now let's read the next one. Share something very interesting which occurred to me today. Verse number 29, translation. Can somebody read that again?
29. I was very much attached to those sages. I was gentle in behavior, and all my sins were eradicated in their service. In my heart, I had strong faith in them.
Hold on, Mataji, hold on. This again, another nivritti is happening. Right? My sins are eradicated in the service. Do you see how many times this anartha nivritti is happening? Just like Sadhu Sangha, anartha nivritti, bhajana kriya, in every stage it is forming the basis, right?
If Narad Muni also, it is taking so much time.
Sorry? Okay, we are saying for Narad Muni it is taking so much time for us. Once this is the beauty of transcendental devotional services, once you start enjoying it, time is not a constraint. Yeah. Right? Now, I was gentle in behavior and all my sins were eradicated in the service. In my heart, I had strong faith in them. I had subjugated the senses and I was strictly following them with body and mind.
The Shraddha comes again. No?
Now, there are two things here. That's why I wanted to bring it out. The Shraddha, there are two levels it is happening. At two levels, Nishtha is happening. At two levels, Ruchi is happening. Can you identify what are those two levels?
Like you said, once we do unknowingly and then
No. Knowingly, unknowingly is different. But I'm saying here again, all the stages. That's only Sadhu Sangha I told you knowingly and unknowingly. Here you can see he was explaining all this asakti, nishtha, everything. But you see, there are two things at level where this asakti, nishtha and all happens. What are those two things? One is to the subject matter and another is to the person who is giving that subject matter to us, bestowing that subject matter to us. Asakti, if it is there only for the subject matter, that's not enough. You see, I was very much attached to those sages, the sadhus. So attachment here is what?
Asakti.
So asakti is not only for the katha, glories of Krishna. Asakti is also for the person who is giving that katha. Shraddha is not only for the katha, Shraddha is also on the person who is giving that katha, giving the knowledge. That's why here you see, I had faith, strong faith in them.
Hmm.
You see that?
I'm not able to find it, Prabhuji.
Sorry?
Which sloka?
There, no, text
And-
29. Text 29. In my
Text
heart, I
29.
had strong faith in them.
Read, Swapna Mataji, you read that translation again.
29. I was very much attached to those sages. I was gentle in behavior, and all my sins were eradicated in their service. In my heart, I had a strong faith in them. I had subjugated the senses, and I was strictly following them with body and mind. Yes, Prabhuji, I got it now. Yes.
Got it right? All those
Yeah.
asakti, nishta, shraddha, they're all applicable to both the subject matter and the person who is giving that teaching us the subject matter. That is
So it's
what will
okay
make
na,
the.
Prabhuji?
Sorry?
So it is okay na, Prabhuji, in bhakti that we are attached to both, or we need to go only.
It's not okay. It has to be.
Have to be.
That is what will make the process much faster. Process of attaining to the prema bhav. Bhav and prema.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Isn't it?
Yes, Prabhuji.
That is why Prabhupada was able to be so successful, because he was 100% or 200% attached to strong faith, attachment,
Spiritual
asakti,
master.
everything to spiritual master also. And spiritual master does not mean that master who is in that form or whatever, but it is, of course, but it goes beyond that to the instructions of the spiritual master. After the spiritual master leaves, also we need to have the faith in the spiritual master, in the master's instruction, and strong faith and asakti that I should somehow or other, before leaving this body, before breathe my last breath, I should complete my service to my spiritual master. I should complete fulfilling the instructions of the spiritual master.
Prabhuji, I asked this question because there are many speakers or many devotees who help us understand Srimad Bhagavatam. But by some devotees, it goes to the brain and the heart. By some, it goes only till ears. So I asked this question. Sometimes we are attached to somebody, and then and also the instructions, but also to the person also. That if it makes me understand, I will be able to understand and follow. So that's why I asked this question.
Yeah, so see, it depends on how Krishna arranges. It's not that one person is higher and the other person is lower. It is just that at that point, through whatever reason, for whatever reason, Krishna arranges for that so and so personality and this so and so personality who is speaking and hearing to have a connect, because of maybe the purity of that sadhu at that time, and also the concentration with the faith with which the one who is hearing it happens. And as a result, that's why not everybody is attracted to everybody. You understand?
Yes,
There are
sir.
certain kind of people attracted to certain kind of people, another certain attracted to certain kind of. It's not one is higher, one is lower.
Yes, sir.
So that happens with whatever reasons Krishna is arranging at that point, depending on how pure the speaker is speaking and how purely the listener is hearing.
Yes, Prabhu.
So we just have to go by that, and again, it is material tendency to think that suppose I am attached to somebody, then what I will do is, in my immature stage, in my neophyte stage, I will think that only this person is the greatest, all others are not. That is a very premature or immature stage, that is. Again, that's because we are still in the bodily conception. I, me, mine conception. Right? So again, there'll be arguments and he is better, he is greater, he is better, he is this, he is that. That's not required at all.
Yes, Prabhu, got it. Yes, Prabhu. Thank you. Thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah. It just.
Prabhuji,
Sorry, Mataji.
Yes, yes. A follow-up question, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
So, the speaker to whom we are attached, should we listen only to them and stop listening to others, or this develop the attachment is there, right? So, so how should we go about? Like, should we develop the attachment, or whom we are attached, listen only to them?
No, your question is not very clear, Mataji. I'm not able to understand your question fully. Can you reframe it?
Yes, Prabhuji. So we listen to several speakers. So and we develop attachment or connection with one or a few speakers. So should we develop attachment to all the speakers, or whomever we develop attachment, stick with them? Because you said asakti to the speaker and to Krishna Katha. So
See, your main aim first is to develop asakti to the Krishna Katha, right? As your asakti is getting, your attachment is getting purified, then you will naturally, Krishna will arrange for you to be attracted to so-and-so person. Based on whatever that relationship is. So we don't even know how it happens. Why it happens. Why it happens. Krishna arranges that. When I asked this question to my Guru Maharaj Maharaj, no, so he was telling this thing that in the beginning stages, it is better to listen to, say, one or maybe a few like that. Because we are a creeper, no? We need some support. This creeper will just fall off otherwise. So that support we have to find in whoever is easy for, is easily for us. We are naturally getting, not easy, naturally getting attracted to their words. We just listen to that. So this strong, this stick will make sure this creeper, while it is growing, it grows in the right direction. If the stick is not there, then the creeper, being its tender, it will just fall off like this. It will grow, but in a different direction. You understand? So Mara said, beginning stages, have a one or two, maybe few people down. If you listen to everybody, then it will just be a information overload. We don't want information overload in that sense. We want to go slowly and gradually. In the beginning stages, people need, people want to hear from everybody, here, there, everywhere they would want to do. It's nice, but it will just go dissipate away, because the information should lead to transformation. There should be some transformation in the heart. Correct? So there's nothing wrong in sticking to one or two people and then gradually progressing our bhakti. But as you grow deeper and deeper and deeper and develop a natural taste for the for Krishna Katha and Krishna Seva, devotees, Vaishnava Seva and Krishna Seva, then you will see that everybody is speaking in their nice way from their heart, whatever Krishna is inspired. Of course, not everybody speaks in that way. There are some who may have ulterior motives and speaking, but those also will be revealed to you by Krishna's mercy, which is correct and which is bogus, etc., etc. You don't have to worry about it too much. Only thing is that you focus on your part of it. So in the beginning stages, develop that natural attraction towards, or not attraction, at least listen to one person to steadily. That's what anybody will say. Even you ask Radhesham Prabhu or anybody for the, or Gaurang Prabhu or any senior Vaishnava, senior Maharajas, anybody, they will say the same thing that Prabhupada also said that. When Prabhupada was initiating devotees, quite a few of them were going to, say, Mayapur and other places, and there they got attracted to, say, a few other sannyasis who are Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's disciples. But Prabhupada lovingly cautioned them that I don't want to stop you from listening to them, but you will get confused sometimes, because among us, you are telling, among us God siblings also, each one will have their focus or their inclination towards some certain seva, certain things, whatever. So you will end up doing a khichdi of the whole thing if you in the tender stages that I'm saying, and you will not go deep in one thing. It's not a good thing to just be on a shallow thing in all the things and not go deep. You can be shallow in all of them, but be deep in at least one of them. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, Prabhuji.
You may not have the time, really. Sorry, yes, someone else was saying something. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, yes, Prabhuji. Actually, I think what you're trying to say is that here many of them, but develop attachments of you, or you have more trust on few of them, whom you can confide, you can hear. Is it like that, Prabhu? I think.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to say. Like,
Yes,
see,
Prabhu.
now that, especially with the YouTube and social media world, we are talking about 30 years ago, 40 years ago, 30, 25, 30 years ago also, we had all these things were not there. So whatever we hear, we used to hear only when devotees come into our place, or maybe their recorded thing is sent to us, that through some devotees, etc., whatever. That's how it was shared. Even when Prabhupada was there, when he's in San Francisco, devotees in New York will not be able to hear him. They will have to send a recorded tape later to this thing. So it is much, those days it was not so much complications. But now, with the click of a button, you can just see anybody's lecture anywhere. Correct? So what happens is, you end up listening a lot, but extracting the essence and practicing it is very, very little. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
And that is a practical difficulty that I'm talking about. I'm not against listening to everybody. I'm not professing that you should only do this. I am just identifying the something within my limited capacity, of course. I'm just seeing how the attention span is going down, how the taste is going, taste for worrying to implement, and real asakti for the subject matter. I'm seeing that it's slowly going down. I'm including myself in that. So it is
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
something
Sorry,
serious
Prabhuji,
to
I didn't
note.
get it.
Harimataji?
Sorry, Prabhuji, I didn't get the last line you said. You said it's going down.
Yeah, the attention span is going down. We are listening everywhere, and implementation is very, very little.
No
So
transformation, nothing, Prabhu. Yes.
yeah, as I told you, lot of information, but not very little transformation.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I
Yes, Mataji.
asked this question to Kanai Prabhu in Friday class, that now we can hear from YouTube, but senior devotees like Satyavati Mataji, Jaidev Prabhuji, they never had access to YouTube, but their realizations and their practice and their classes are at a very high level. How it is possible? So he said that they were surrendered, and that's why they could gather everything.
They could.
They could they could get to this point because they were surrendered to the one speaker they were listening to, because they never had recording, nothing they had. But when they used to sit with the surrender, and that's why they used to get everything into their heart.
What he's saying is very much true, Mataji. But he also telling out of humility is also that category. But what I mean is, that retention capacity also has become very less. See, I remember what I heard, say, 20 years ago from my spiritual master, when no 20, 30 years ago, or when there is no recording and these YouTubes are there. But you ask me what I heard 1 week ago, I'm not able to remember. Because there's a lot of hearing, but very less retention. You see, Narad Muni's life, he was listening to only that Bhaktivedantas, what they were discussing. Even though he could not understand most of it, still he was attracted. And then slowly that attraction became increased. And when then it became asakti, it's all connected. You know, it's everything is happening in just this very short period of these 3-4 months.
Yes, Prabhu. And I remember Satyavati Mataji, she had told us that she was working in Bank of Baroda, and at 9 o'clock she used to close her kitchen for everything, and then after that she used to only study Srimad Bhagavatam,
Hmm.
and everybody knows her classes.
You know how she was. I met Jaidev Prabhu, and I've seen her also, and I met Jano Mataji also a few times here. She's so humble, so surrendered.
Mm.
There's no thing about age and I'm senior, etc. Nothing is there. How it is possible for them to do that? Because they whatever they heard, they put that into practice. So the whatever that information or instructions they got, that led to their transformation,
Yes, Prabhu.
right? So
And
that
Prabhuji,
is where
what
I am seeing. Yes, Mataji.
Prabhuji, initially I was very much addicted to hearing lectures. But when now I'm studying Srimad Bhagavatam under your guidance, at that time I understood that 10 lectures is equal to one shloka. Means it is very important because hearing is very passive and reading is very active. So one has to have that book reading very much important.
Both have their own advantages, but the reason reading is actually as good as hearing from Prabhupada. As I told you many times, that reading from Prabhupada's books is as Prabhupada is speaking and we are hearing. That's all. But here it's even more intense because we are putting our mind and going back and forth. In hearing, you cannot go back and listen, at least in the live thing, right? So you have to, it's,
Yes.
it's a sequential flow, linear flow it is. So in books, you can go back and for now that we read the one verse here, 1616, we went back to 5th chapter and we read this whole process now, that for five verses. You see, Piyush Prabhu has already put these things. So Adhusanga, that's a different point, of course. So we have, I think Sri Vidya Mataji already put the thing for Ruchi, Nishta, and then Piyush Prabhu also puts this, right? Nishta to Bhakti Vedanta means strictly following them. Yeah, this is a very, very important point. When you say I am Nishta, Nishta is not just about hearing, but following. Nishta to Bhaktivedanta actually means also strictly following the instructions. And Asakti is attachment to the sages. Shraddha means strong faith. So Shraddha, Asakti, Nishta, all these three are there. And Bhajana Kriya also happens. Anartha Nivritti also happens, right? And he is anyway hearing from them. So that is, what is that? Sadhu Sangha is there. Bhajana Kriya is there, and my sins were eradicated in their service. So Sadhu Seva is also there. Sadhu Seva is there, and Anartha Nivritti is also happening. Okay. And so from here, the most important point here is that he's feeling that I am not at all, I don't deserve this, but still they are giving me the mercy, right? That feeling of not deserving the mercy is the ultimate result of getting the mercy. Ultimate effect of getting the mercy is realization that I don't deserve it. You get me?
Yes, Prabhu.
The day I start thinking that I deserve it, why I did not have more of it, he gave me only this much or etc. etc. Then the effect of the mercy is lost. The effect of the mercy is complete only when we get this realization that I don't deserve it. I'm not at all qualified for it. But still, Krishna has given me this. So that is a very important point to note here. So what did we miss here? Did Narad Muni miss anything in this list? We got
Bhava and prema.
sorry.
Bhava and prema.
That is what is coming in the 6th chapter. This he told all these things, that I am following all these things up to this point. These are all the ones that will lead to bhava, and that is why he left it for the part 2. The part 2 is in the 6th chapter, where he is telling bhava nirjita chetasa. Correct?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji.
With all these things, whatever he learned, he is doing this bhava because see why that bhava is not not revealed until this point. So far in that 5th chapter, it went up to asakti, no? He was developing so much attachment to them,
Yes,
and he was eagerly running to them. He was eagerly running to the ashram to hear from them. Correct? Tell me, why it was held back till then, till this point.
Prabhuji, can you please repeat the question? I was unable to hear.
In the 5th chapter, he was explaining all the other stages, but bhava is not there. Bhava is coming here only, and he is talking about he's going around all alone and then learning the meditation and then began meditating, following the instructions here. Why it was
Prabhuji,
withheld till now?
Prabhuji, because bhava and prema is not in our hands till up till that before bhava and prema, it is our there is some endeavor by our side, and bhava and prema, it is by the mercy of the Lord. That's why
Very, very nice point, but there's one more beyond that. Very, very nice point, Mataji. You spoke something which um, was not in my mind. That's really nice. There's one other important point that is coming in the purport itself. These are the stages which come when you genuinely feel separation from the Lord or his pure devotees, right? So Narad Muni is genuinely feeling the separation of the sadhus while during his travel and everywhere. You understand? And when he starts to meditate, he's really feeling that viraha bhava, that vipralamba seva is there. So it's in the separation that you actually exhibit your pure bhava and prema. You do it when in their presence also, but it's more pronounced and more genuinely, intensely experienced in their absence, in their apparent absence. That is why Krishna always likes the Vipralamba Seva much more, right? The last verse of Shikshashtakam and Arjuna's prayers of separation in 15th chapter, first canto. There also is full of tears, feeling the separation of Krishna. But in the process of separation, you see the Lord and his devotees, our spiritual masters, in their instructions, in their seva. Their instruction, when you follow, that becomes the seva. And when you do that, in that you feel their association, you feel their presence. Without following the instruction, if I simply say I am separated from my spiritual master, that feeling will just dissipate. It's just a transient thing that has nothing to do really with devotional service. Does that help?
Yes, Prabhu. And also, what I feel is that we are getting more instruction on following the instruction of the spiritual master, and that's why the emphasis is on this. That's what
Yeah,
I thought.
very true, very true. So here, whatever the Bhaktivedanta start, he of course followed it. He followed it. That's why he could. I mean, wherever possible, he was following it. Like when his mother passed away, he took it as Krishna's mercy. It was an instruction that he learned from the spiritual masters. Otherwise, where he would have learned it? From the sages, from the saints. He learned it that everything in this world is temporary. And whatever is happening is fully under the control of Krishna. That is why he's saying, Yad Ishvara Vasham Loke, Yosha Darumayata. There also
And
he
Prabhuji,
followed.
Yes,
Yes, Mataji.
Prabhuji, also what I feel is that already he was on the stage of Bhava, because he's a 5-year old, and already he's thinking at the level of ki this is Krishna's mercy, I need to accept. So already he's in the stage of Bhava.
You mean when mother passed away?
Yes, Prabhuji, because who other than a person in a Bhava can accept the things at this
No,
level?
that is one part of it, but it can be on a neutral state also. Like like you can be detached from everything, but then attachment to Krishna and his Namarupa Guna Lila is a different category. In other words, it's a beginning part of it where you are detached from the material situations and possessions, whatever, relations, etc. But then it completes it. The whole thing is completed when you see Krishna as your only bandhu, Krishna as your only suhrat, Krishna as your only shelter, etc., etc.
Yes, got it, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji.
Right? That happens. That whole thing is completed when he starts meditating on upon the lotus feet of the Lord, as per the instruction of the sages. That is why, as soon as I began meditating, because he was already on the asakti, all the stages he has reached already.
Yes, Prabhuji.
By its own admission of what has happened in the 5th chapter, right? That's why, without delay, the Lord appears in the in the core of his heart.
Yes, Prabhu.
That is why tears started flowing from his eyes on his own. Like you said very nicely, Bhava and Prema it's a mercy of Guru and Krishna. It does not happen simply by our own endeavor alone.
Yes, Prabhu.
So the tears flowing from his eyes in the Narad Muni, it is actually a result of Krishna being pleased with his service in spite of all the challenges that he was facing until that point in life.
So here, Prabhuji, the importance of samskaras is also are getting very underlined, because if our sanskaras is that we are not attached to something, it aids to the spiritual practice. What I am getting it here. Before
So
starting of spiritual practice, he was not that attached. So for us also, it is very important that we don't get attached voluntarily to things.
you get attached to by with the help of others. If you are a clean slate, you get attached to something by somebody's association who have already that attachment. Correct?
Mhm. Yes, Prabhu.
So in Narada Muni's case, he was a clean slate.
It was, I didn't get it.
He was a clean slate.
Clean slate. Okay, okay, yes, yes.
Because of that, whatever the sages told, everything was like it was an empty vessel. So he was able to gather as much as he can.
Yes, Prabhu.
So if we also go and stand in front of our spiritual masters, I am completely empty, like how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stood in front of his spiritual master. I am a fool number one. How Sanatana Goswami stood in front of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I am such a fool. Pandita Maninaha. What does he say? That what is that? I don't know myself. I don't know what this world is made of. I don't know what I am supposed to do. And people are calling me Pandit. Japa Tapatray. Kayami, Kene Amar, Japa Tapatray. Means he said, I don't know who I am. I don't know what these things that I am calling myself as. These things are mine. And I don't know why I'm suffering from these threefold miseries. And people are calling me Pandit. That's how he went as like an empty vessel in front of a spiritual master. That is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Narada Muni was like that. And the result was he could get the complete mercy the complete mercy fully. He was empty. He was what do you call collecting the complete mercy in that vessel and came back.
Yes.
Isn't it? So these are the important points which I felt that this sloka, Autkantya Ashru Kalakshasya. Autkantya Ashru Kalakshasya means there's so much Utkanta. Utkanta means earnestness, eagerness. Somehow or other I will get Krishna, and I don't have to do anything else. I just need to do Krishna, just serve Krishna, that's all. Nothing else is required in this life. To that extent, he developed that asakti. So in this Baba stage only, Prabhupada writes, being surcharged with transcendental loves, there comes a strong feeling of separation which leads to 8 different kinds of ecstasies. Tears from eyes of a devotee is an automatic reaction. That's why the tears came out. He was feeling separation from the saints also, the Bhaktivedanta sages also, and he was feeling separation from Krishna also. Krishna Katha, I mean, right? Krishna in the form of Krishna Katha. So he was meditating and he was trying to recapture that bhav, the Krishna Katha by remembering them, their instruction, following their instructions, etc. We'll stop here. Nice discussions. Thank you for all the input. So this we will refine this discussion. I mean, whatever we discuss a little further. Krishna willing, reconnect next week. So we'll stop here. Any other questions, comments before we end for the day? 1 or 2 questions or comments we can discuss.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji.
Prabhuji, I have this question. Like you said, right? Retention power is really reducing day by day, and it's just no transformation, only information. So, Prabhuji, even I also face the same issue, that nothing is being retained, whatever I heard yesterday also. So, what is the practical solution for this, Prabhuji?
Everybody faces that in these days, Mataji. You're not alone. I would say don't hear too much. Hear little, follow that, and then go to the next one. But until you follow that, keep hearing that same thing again and again and again. One greatest lesson I learned from Prabhupada's disciples, whom I associated with, is that if they take one lecture of Prabhupada, they will hear minimum 100 times. And I follow that to whatever little extent I can. With Prabhupada's lecture or my spiritual master's lecture or any other thing, I don't just listen once. I listen a few times. If you remember, Daivi Shakti Mataji's one lecture also, I usually don't post links in the group also, if you remember. I posted it in the group after that, during that Golden Jubilee celebration, a beautiful lecture. I listened to it at least 3 times before posting it in the group. So the one thing that I would say is that don't just listen once and just get done with it and move on to the other lecture. That is where the transformation stops. Transformation is possible when you are able to hear again, like how Narada Muni was again and again and again thinking through what the saints gave him, Bhaktivedantas gave him. You know. So listen a few times. My spiritual masters lectures, there are so many lectures that I collect and post in the, update in the database, etc. But I don't just hear and go. I listen. Any lecture I take, at least minimum 20-25 times I listen. It may not be that I'm listening to the entire lecture every time. Sometimes I may listen half of it and then I will move on. But again, I will go back and again start from the beginning. So, that's how transformation can happen. My practical experience, Mataji. At least it will lead to a point where you have a earnestness, that an eagerness to practice what is told there. And that the challenge we are facing is we get information, we share that information before even using that information to transform ourselves. When I say information, it means instruction. Using that instruction to transform ourselves, we don't wait for that, but we jump to the sharing that instruction. Put it in the status, put it in your reels, put it in your this, that, etc., very, very quickly. And we want to be like, no, I want to preach, I want to preach, I want to preach. This goes on. But where is the effect of the preaching without the instruction transforming us first? That's where we should ask the question to ourselves. And I know many of you will agree with me that there's a lot of materials available with us in the form of lectures, articles, books, whatever, so many things. And we are able to share it also so easily these days. But what is the reality? When it is not transforming me, how can I expect it to transform others? Especially when I am giving. I myself are not transformed. Right? Does it help, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Yeah, repeated hearing. And before sharing, we should.
And contemplating on it.
Yes.
3 stages are there, no? Shrinvan, Supatan, Vicharana Paro. So when you tell Shrinvan, that is the hearing. Then Supatan means you again and again you hear. And Patan here actually means you are going back and here reading and deeper study basically. Like how we were trying to go back to 5th chapter and trying to understand what he said earlier. Why suddenly tears came out? He was supposed to have followed all the process, which means he has already followed the process. Now it has become very clear that when Narada Muni did all these other processes and when he has come to this Bhava stage, right? So this Bhava stage can be in a hidden state actually. in a completely, it will be like hiding under the ground. You understand? The process, we may think that, hey, I have never attained Asati, I have never attained Nishta. Narad Muni has to take so much time. How much more it will take for me? No need to worry about all that. These are all getting slowly getting gathered in the process of our, how should I say, our practice, sadhana bhakti, sadhana sevas. So they will get accumulated slowly, and one fine day will see that yes, I'm experiencing the bhava stage. And it is something which is not in our hands, as Sapna Madhuri rightly said. It's totally dependent on Krishna, but when it comes, whenever Krishna decides it will come, it will come. Right? I see Piyush Prabhu asking a question. Verse, Prabhu, are you talking about verse 29? Now, in this previous birth attained that stage.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji. Yes.
1:6, which one, Prabhu? 29, huh? We are in 16 now, Prabhu.
16, Prabhuji, 16, 1:6:16.
In 16, yes, Prabhupada is writing that. I saw that, yes. Narada Muni's previous birth attained that stage very quickly after his departure from home. It was quite possible for him to perceive the actual presence of the Lord, which he tangibly experienced by his developed spiritual senses without material tinge. This developed spiritual senses without material tinge is where the the bhava prema is actually happening. So you are right, Prabhu. He has come all the way up to Asakti. That bhava is also, it's like in a preliminary, like the stage. It's like the about to blow off, explode kind of a thing. But then when he actually practiced it, it could come outside and manifest for others to see. So this, how it is happening is because of following the instructions with unflinching faith, with the aim of transforming oneself. Does that help?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Guru.
Hare Krishna.
Sukadeva Goswami said, or Sudha Goswami said? Sukadeva Goswami says, whatever he assimilated from his Guru, he will speak. It was Sudha Goswami who said.
I was confused.
Sudha Goswami mentioned that in self-assimilated thing, no? He says that Yasvanu Bhavamati Lashruti Sarametam. So that is Sutta Goswami telling about what I learned from Sukadeva Goswami. I will speak.
Okay. Assimilate, I wanted to, like you said, we hear and we have to assimilate and then tell to
Assimilation.
others.
Assimilation means your whole system is filled with that, right? Filled with that energy completely. So that assimilation is usually, you call it as when you eat some food that gets digested, that energy gets transformed into all parts of the body through the blood, in the form of blood. So that is the actual what it means to be assimilation. The essence is taken, and then the blood goes all through the body, so it becomes part of your whole system is enriched with that energy. Same way, when we are getting some instructions or learning something or hearing something, that whole thing has to be, the essence has to be extracted, thought over, and the process for practicing it should be inculcated. And we keep on trying. One time I will fail, twice, 10 times, 100 times I will fail, but still I will keep attempting. That attempting to practice it itself is a transformation happening there. So don't worry about successful application of the instruction. Attempting to apply those instruction itself is a success. It's a success. And then the transformation naturally happens, which means all the qualities like humility, gratitude, honesty, surrender, seva bhav, all those things. These are all the manifestation of that assimilation and transformation. Okay, we'll stop here. Thank you so much for your wonderful association, Sadhu Sangha today. Very, very sweet. I really relish and value this association very much because it helps us dissect and bisect and analyze our own understanding and assimilation of Prabhupada's and our Acharya's transmitted instructions. Stop here. जय ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय श्रील गुरुदेव की जय अंतकोटि वैष्णव की जय तैगोर प्रभुदेव कृपा सिंधु पतितानां पावनेभ्यो Thank you so much for all your association. Hare Krishna. See you soon.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Dandavat pranam.
Dandavat pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Pranam, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.